We are now ready to start our decreases. So let's take a look at these instructions again. Rows 9 and 10, 25 times, single crochet. We just did that. Now row 11, 5 times. We're going to do 3 single crochets and then a decrease. At this point, we can consider ourselves starting over on the staggering. Decreases work like increases where you do not want to place them on top of each other. So you do want to stagger them. So let's get started. Now, even though it says 3 single crochets, 1 decrease, because we're starting a new round and this is the first round we're doing decreases, I like to start the first stitch with a decrease. So if you remember, especially because I'm not using a stitch marker, I want a way to be able to track where the round starts. So, and like have a marker, like a landmark, like I said before. So in this case, I'm going to do my decrease first. Let me show you how to do it. Feel free to follow along if you'd like, or you can wait and you can rewind. Got to, again, make sure my hook is the right size on this side. So here we go. I'm going to also double check that I'm in the right spot here. So I'm going to start down here. I'm going to find my double crochets. Where are they? Right here. Or no, my double crochets, my increases right here. Double increases. And I'm going to follow this. Let's see. I think I got myself lost. Here we go. I'm going to follow this. I'm lost. Okay, see, let me see here. I'm going to follow this up. Yep, up to here. So I'm good to go. This is the last stitch of the round, and I'm going to start in here. With the decrease, what we're doing is we're basically creating 1 stitch on top of 2 stitches. There is a traditional way of doing this, and then there's a way that I'm going to teach you, which is called an invisible decrease. I much prefer that. The traditional way, I think, to do this, I did not look it up, so I'm going off of memory. If you think it's something else, feel free to tell me in the comments, and then other people can know. But usually what happens is you put your hook through the first stitch just like you normally would, but then instead of starting to do the loop, you don't. You then go in to the next stitch. What do you mean? Yep, so now I have 2 stitches on my hook, and then you do your normal loop. Pull it through those 2. Now you have 2 stitches just like normal, and you pull your yarn through those 2 loops. And now you can see I have 1 stitch that are connecting 2 stitches, and that's how I just did a decrease. I don't prefer this way. I feel like it makes it lumpy. I prefer doing it a slightly different way, which I'll show you here. So I'm going to take this one out. Pop, pop. Don't lose your last stitch, and if you do, that's okay. You can fix it. You can find it again. I believe in you. Here now, the way I do the decrease, I believe this is called an invisible decrease. We are only going to take loops in these first, what's called the front loop of these loops. So I'm going to just pop through here, and then actually, instead of coming back through from the top, I'm going to come in from the bottom. So I'm going to twist my hook down. I'm going to come up in from the bottom again like I would do a normal crochet. Make sure I don't accidentally catch the other one. And now here I have 2. And then I'm going to grab the yarn and pull it through those 2. I'm wondering now if this is more difficult than I want it to be for this video, but I believe in you. I do. And then I'm going to grab the yarn and pull it through these 2. So I'm realizing now we are jumping to pretty advanced stuff. But in all honesty, I don't know that it's any more difficult than what you're learning already with crochet if you haven't done it before. And if you have, then that's great. Maybe you learned a new technique. So that's the decrease. That's the first stitch. Now I'm going to do 3. We're going to keep going, and we are going to do this 5 times. And we're going to keep doing it for the next couple rounds. So you're going to get lots of practice doing these decreases. Okay, so we just made our decrease. And you can see here that you have a single crochet, a single stitch sort of sandwiched between these 2. It's a little hard to see. You're going to have to you'll get used to trying to find it as you keep working on this. So now we're going to do our next 3 single crochets, just normal crochets. Make sure you don't accidentally go back into the stitch on the side that you just decreased. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the same position where you didn't actually decrease, and it might look a little weird. So we're going to go into this stitch, the next one over. I'm going to do a single crochet. 1, 2, oops, sorry, I hit my lamp, and 3. Then we're going to do another decrease. So now we're ready to do our next decrease. Again, we're going to take our hook We're going to come in underneath like we normally do, but instead of going through both loops, we're only going to catch this front loop. Then to do the decrease, we're going to twist our hook under, and we're going to go into the next stitch's front loop, just like we did the previous one. All right, so you're going to catch 2. Now it looks like you have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to grab the yarn, you're going to pull it through those first 2 loops to decrease that stitch. All right, and then we're going to grab the yarn again to pull it through these 2 loops to make our regular single crochet. Okay, and then you can see it sandwiched on top of those 2. We're going to do our next 3 single crochets. Again, make sure you don't accidentally go back into your decreased stitch. So take it slow. This is supposed to be relaxing. So that's 1, 2, 3, and here we go. It's like a roller coaster. We're going to go do it again. So we're going to go in to the front loop, just the first loop, just the first loop. We're going to twist our hook around. We're going to catch the next loop. Again, just the first loop. Grab the yarn, bring it through those 2. That's your decrease. Then you're going to grab yarn again and pull it through the 2 loops. That makes a single crochet. Then we're going to do our 3 loops. We're in nice and easy and familiar territory. 1, 2, 3. And here we go again, back up and down that roller coaster. So we're going to go up into the first loop. We're going to twist our hook. We're going to go up through that second loop. We're going to grab yarn, pull it through both. If it feels hard, it might be because your hook is catching on some of the pieces of the yarn in between. So go slow. It should feel like a little pop when it makes it through, and it should be nice and smooth. All right, then we do our regular single crochets. That's 1, 2, 3. I feel pretty certain, but I didn't keep track very well, that we have 1 more to go. I can tell that my bottom down here is all the way over here. So I could kind of count it back up through here. I'm certain. Look at that. Yeah. We're going to do our decrease again. This is the last one for this round. So we're going to go up into this front loop. If you can see here, I didn't catch the full yarn. So I'm going to actually go in here again, and I caught, nope, I didn't catch it. I'm going to try one more time. Boop, yep. Now I've caught the full yarn. I should look up the words. If you know the words, let me know. But just like that yarn thread, and not its little, I don't know, plies. Maybe that's what it is, ply. All right, and then pull this through these 2. Again, pro tip, angle your hook down so that that pointy part's going through the V. That will make it easier to go through. And then we're going to complete this single crochet. And then we're going to do 3. You may be noticing already the effect of this decrease is making this hole smaller, and your fingers are feeling a little squeezed. So normal, figure out what works for you and what feels comfortable for you. That is the end of our round. That was 3. Let's check and make sure that we actually made it. One easy way is find your initial decreased stitch, and there it is, right there, sandwiched between those 2. So that's how you can check that it's there. And that, my friends, is round 11, and you just did your first set of decreases. Congratulations.